This video will give a general overview of how you can use OSF as a shared project space for research collaboration. Unlike with research outputs, when you use OSF for collaboration, you generally will not be making your project space public, so you have more freedom to customize it based on your team's needs. OSF provides several recommendations for how you might choose to organize your team's projects for research, including the structures shown here. For example, you might have a single master project for a research lab with different research initiatives nestled within it as components, as shown in the top image. Or you might have different projects based on document type and link those to one another, as shown in the bottom image. OSF gives more detailed explanations of how you might implement these structures. Here, we will cover some aspects of the project space you should consider regardless of the setup you use. In order to collaborate with other researchers, you first need to add them to your project space. To do so, go to the Contributors tab, and then click on the green Add button. If your collaborator already has an OSF account, you can enter their name, and then click the green plus button to add them as a contributor to the project. Just be sure to confirm that you are adding the right person. If they do not yet have an OSF account, you can select to add that person as an unregistered contributor. Then you'll enter their name and email, and they will receive an email inviting them to the project. There are two important settings to adjust when adding a contributor. The first is this bibliographic contributor box, which is checked by default and includes the contributor in your project's auto-generated citation. If you uncheck it, their name will not be listed. The second setting is the user's permissions, which can be set to read, meaning they can view but not edit content, read and write, meaning they can view and edit content, or administrator, meaning that they can view and edit content as well as add or remove other contributors. Once you've added contributors to your project, consider adding some information to the wiki space. The wiki might be a simple introduction to orient new team members, letting them know where to find important information, or it might be much more detailed, with separate pages for policies, protocols, and any other fairly static documentation you would like to include. By default, your project wiki includes a homepage that will be displayed on the project overview, so it's a good place to put high-level information that new team members will need to see right away. As discussed in the research data sharing video, every OSF project has space for uploading files and folders. But if you are hosting your files elsewhere, such as Box, Google Drive, or OneDrive, but would like them to be accessible from the project space, you can link to the storage space from the Add-ons tab. Before connecting to a service, be sure to review its terms to make sure you understand how its contents will interact with OSF and what you are granting OSF permission to access. Once you have connected third-party storage, it will be visible on your project's Files menu. A final aspect of OSF you may find helpful are components, which are sub-projects within a project and provide you another method of organizing your space beyond the Files menu. For example, you may wish to create a separate component for your project's literature review to separate it from data collection and analysis. The process of creating a component is very similar to creating a project, including entering a title, storage location, description, and category. You also have the option of having your component inherit both the contributors and tags of its parent project. If the members of your research team require different levels of file access, you can create a component for storing limited use files and manage the component's contributors to limit access to only certain members of the project space. Components are nestled within another project and therefore inherit some features from them, but you can also link projects horizontally rather than vertically using this Link Projects button. Linking can be a useful tool if you want your internal project space to be connected to a publicly available project where you host your research outputs. Hopefully this video has given you some ideas on how you can use OSF for research collaboration. Remember that OSF itself includes more models of how this can be done, and that you can use a fair amount of creativity and flexibility in deciding what works best for your team.